Or that was my goat. I don't know where I put it.
I don't know. Are you goatless? How can you be goatless?
I don't know. It's all new. It's all new to me here, so we're trying to get used to it.
It's like
Yo, YouTube. Well,
new place.
right. Well, it's well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yo, YouTube. Welcome back to the live every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Myself, Charlie with JC3 Cards and Collectibles, and of course, Stuart the Goat and Goat Button. I don't know. That's all I got. I do have a goat. I have a goat somewhere too, but I don't know where he is. I thought he was on my shelves, but he's not there. So, still moving some stuff. So,
They move around.
What's that?
They move around.
They do. Yeah, those goats get around. That's for sure. All right, so we've got a few things we want to talk about tonight. But of course, as per usual, keep it loosey goosey and kind of see where everything goes. We want to talk a little bit about the National. It's coming up pretty quick, so every show now until then, we're going to touch on that stuff a little bit. We want to talk a little bit about non-sport cards being added to Card Dealer Pro and how that's going. It does not find cards like this.
It does find cards like this.
Yeah, it also does not. Let's see, what are the other ones? Some of my Breaking Bad cards, it didn't find. It didn't find California Raisins. It didn't find Marilyn Monroe. Right. Didn't find some of the Lost cards.
Oh, you have Lost cards?
Yep. Battlestar Galactica, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad. Got a bunch of Breaking Bad stuff. The Breaking Bad base cards are found, but not the inserts, which is super weird because those get listed more than the base cards, right? So I don't know. I didn't get that. Let's see, what else? I think those were the big ones. The other one, this other stuff's all shiny, so it's not going to go through there. But I found a whole box of non-sport from the National last year that I never listed. So check this thing out. So I don't know if you've ever seen these. This is actually from Goodwin Champions.
Okay.
And it's like wiggle picture cars of the future.
Yeah.
You ever seen those?
I haven't. From a distance,
lenticular insert.
Like a comic duck.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it says, welcome to Robo Burger. So this is supposed to be like cars of the future getting served by robots. Here, let me go solo here and maybe you can see this a little bit better. Sure. Yeah, it's lenticular, so it's wiggle picture-ish, if you will. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's Goodwin Champions. It's Upper Deck. Upper Deck, Goodwin Champions. So when robots rule the world, which may be coming sooner than later. I don't know. We'll see.
I just love the word lenticular as well.
Yeah, me too. Lenticular is a great. The tongue just enjoys that. So. No, the only thing is tonight I might have to pop up in a bit and get myself a cable because I'm in a new setup, as you can all see, and usually I would plug into my computer to keep my phone charged, and my computer is way over there, so over there, and doesn't reach here, so I've got 70% battery. We'll see how far I guess we get with that, but I might have to pop out if we run long here and pick that up.
Sure.
Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, our pickups. We had a couple of nice pickups recently. A couple of nice sales out of those pickups. And then I thought there was one other thing that I had mentioned too. I have a really terrible memory.
You probably did. So the National pickups, the non-sports, and
there's one more. I don't have my computer, so I can't look it up.
Yeah, it was the new office pickups and the National.
Okay, so that was it.
So you got them.
Goody. So yeah, let's start with the National. What do you know that's new about the National? Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
What do I know that's new about the National? Well, I heard a couple things this past week, but I don't I don't go out there checking the updates all the time, and I get the emails, but it's always about the autograph signers, and I kind of stopped looking at those because I'm not really going looking for autographs. I'm looking for cards, not autographs. I don't really look to be standing in line for a couple hours to get somebody's, autograph for $200 to $1,000. So I'm not sure what you're referring to, Adam. What could it be? Did you run to get your cable? Is it like in another floor of the house? This guy just takes off. Look at that.
No, I'm here. I'm here. So the main thing was they had announced a bunch of the vendors that were going to be there in the last few days,
Pro,
and Golden Auctions is going to be there. That's kind of a big one. Just some of the normal stuff you would expect to be there. Okay, it came up now. My YouTube kept failing on me for some reason on my laptop. So I was going to try to fix that so I can monetize.
Gotcha.
But the biggest one I thought for this week is Card Dealer Pro is going to be there.
Right.
And our man Alex is going to be there, and we're going to go give him some heavy hands and pressure him to do things we want to do, because that's how we roll. And I think I'm going to contact him and ask him if I can set up an interview for the channel. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
So that's my goal with him. Wildcard is confirmed they're going to be there with their big setup, so that's important to me. Here's my 1,000 Stripe. Dan, the gentleman who runs Wildcard, or owns Wildcard, I should say for that matter, has asked me the last couple nationals to bring the 1,000 Stripe with me, so I'm going to try to use that as some leverage to get some cool freebies from Wildcard.
Sure.
I'm going to bring that in. But yeah, those I think were the big ones that I saw. And Ronaldinho is going to be there. Do you know who Ronaldinho is?
I do know who he is. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Ronaldinho is
kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. If you like to watch like soccer skill videos, Ronaldinho stuff is top notch. Like that guy can do stuff with a ball that no one else can. But anyway, he's going to be there. He's a guest of one of the vendors. I can't remember which one. One of the auction houses or something. So, so that's kind of cool. I don't really do autographs. I don't go meet like players and stuff like that. Derek Teeter would be the exception, of course. Which he'll probably be there because Arena is going to be there, and that's his grading card company.
If I was going to get one, it would be Cal Ripken.
I can respect that. Cal Ripken would be on my list too, so that's a fair answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and again, I don't follow like which athletes and stuff are going to be there. It doesn't really matter to me too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a good show. We got our logistics kind of penned out now, what we're doing that way, and starting to kind of lay out my plan, where I want to be on Wednesday. I was hoping they would have and you guys can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I was hoping they'd have like a map layout for the dealers and stuff, because I know where stuff is in Chicago because it doesn't change that much. But there's a few dealers I really want to try to get to early on Wednesday, and I don't know where any of this is set up in Cleveland. So if anybody has seen a map, I think there's a map of like the big vendors, but I don't know about like each individual dealer. And I might just not have seen it yet. Okay, hold on. I got to pop back in just a second.
Oh boy. So Adam talked a little bit about the logistics. We got that all worked out. So Adam's bringing the iPass. I'm bringing the car. So pretty even split there. But yeah, we're driving out from Green Bay to Cleveland. We're hoping to have some local guides there in Cleveland for our little bit of time away from the National as well. Give us the inside story on some places to eat, some places to check out. But we're leaving that Wednesday morning. We're going to drive straight through and hit the show Wednesday night, and then come back Sunday night. So we'll be there all 4 days for the event. I'm getting pretty excited. I've tried to kind of downplay my first national here for a while. But we're getting pretty close, and I'm getting a little excited and anxious about what this is going to be like. I was talking with Mrs. JC3 the other night about, so do you think I will come home with no cards? And she also said no chance. So that seems to be the consensus.
If you're picking up cards at all the smaller shows and stuff around here, there's no way you're going to the National and not coming home. Dude, you can get stuff like this, and like all these promo, like non-sport stuff. Like you get all these Fleer Metal Marvel cards are pretty sweet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Out of dime boxes and stuff. Like, dude, are you gonna walk away from that?
No.
If you are, let me know, because then I want to buy them. So let's not just leave them there. Let's make sure one of us gets them. But yeah, I like I said, I still have stuff to list from last year, and I'm okay with that. I sold through a ton of it too. But it's always good to have stuff laying around that you can list when you got extra time.
It's funny you grabbed the Fleer Metal cards there, because I was listing Fleer Metal Batman Forever today, and admiring how well they are done. And then I had a silver flash in there too.
So I figured out what was wrong. So I was logged into the Goat Show Google account.
Oh, okay.
Because I was doing that stuff at the bank today. Yeah, and I never logged out of there because I don't really go into YouTube or anything like
email sign.
Yeah, other than my phone, I'll go on it on my phone. But I was like, why the hell doesn't it say I have a YouTube channel? I'm literally on it right now. So yeah, I had to log out of there, and you know how Google is, you got to enter the pass key and all this stuff. So anyway, that's all taken care of. So I'm back for now until I need to be charged anyway. But I did see someone, and I don't want to jump too far ahead on the comments, but I did see someone commented that there's an interactive map with all the dealers on it. So that's good. I'll have to spend some time on there in the next week or so to familiarize myself with that and make at least a Wednesday plan.
I am looking at the floor plan, and it does have like big areas, like there's a whole large PSA area on it.
Yeah, PSA is huge. That's because they do grading and stuff there. So
all the big dealers, Dave and Adam, eBay, it's got all them listed on here now. Upper Deck, Golden.
I saw that, but it doesn't have. Does it have like the small, like per table dealers?
No, it's just got the numbers so far.
Yeah, see that doesn't help me. I need to know who the dealers are. So which is okay. That's fine. And I can figure it out when I get there. And I've got Ethan with me, and Ethan knows how to play the game. He's done it with me for a couple of years, and he knows what I want. So, we'll hit the floor running and go from there. But yeah, Wednesday is key for sure. So yeah, I got that. I got a bunch of Battlestar Galactica inserts that I had picked up. Some of the gold 007 cards. These are really cool, I think. Kung Fu Panda, the Prism inserts. Bunch of the Refractor Game of Thrones. These are from Alias. These Regrets Sparkle insert thingies.
Oh, here we go. New interactive map. Maybe that's the one we want. Oh,
that's what he had said was interactive map. So maybe you have to like hover over the table number.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. So that's like never enough cards. 707.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll get on there this week then. I've got some Big Bang Theory foil inserts. Here's the 4400. Remember that show? It's a pretty good show.
I didn't watch that. I'm not familiar with that.
It was 4,400 people went missing, and then all of a sudden they showed back up, like years later and stuff.
Is that like the Manifest or something like that?
No, Manifest was an airplane.
I thought they all were.
Kind of the same idea. Here's another 4,400 insert. This is one of the Breaking Bad foil inserts. Breaking Bad stuff's pretty cool. I think I put that pack away now. But there's a Breaking Bad insert where it's acetate on half of it, and it's like cracked. It's like blue cracked glass, so it looks like the drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. What's the drugs they make again? I can't remember the name of the drug. Wasn't meth, was it?
It wasn't meth. I think it was. I
Was
mean,
it meth?
that's the more popular one that everyone makes in their kitchen.
Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't seen that show in a long time. I can't remember what it was.
You know, I tried watching it on
it's so good.
streaming,
So good.
and I just couldn't. I had a goal of watching all of that and then Better Call Saul, and I just I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't do Better Call Saul. I think it's in. I don't know. I'm going to grab a couple of these. But you don't see Breaking Bad cards very often anywhere. So
Yeah,
National is kind of your place to get the weird stuff. But here's a whole bag of Breaking Bad stuff that I listed. And you know, I had left a lot of these sitting around because I couldn't scan them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, Card Dealer Pro didn't do non-sport. So I have 3 copies of this card right here. Okay.
Okay.
So this is Gus. Okay. If you watch Breaking Bad, this was Gus. He was the guy who owned the chicken place.
All right.
And that's him with a bunch of bullet holes in him. Hologram card.
Is that the guy that like Giancarlo something that?
Yeah, Giancarlo. Yeah.
Yeah. He was in Osaka.
Correct.
Ahsoka. Yeah. That's it.
So I got 3 copies of these. I guess how much I listed them for.
$4.99 each.
$19.99 each.
What?
$19.99 each. And I already got an offer of $36 for the 3 of them. So 12 a piece.
Really?
Which I countered, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm talking about, non-sport.
Yeah.
Get on the bus.
I'm
What's the
looking
other
at
one?
some of the names at these tables, trying to sort out who's sport and who's non-sport.
Well, that's your problem. If you guys don't do your research, then yeah, I can't help you. But I got a bunch of the blonde chick from Game of Thrones that everybody loves. What's her name? Daenerys or whatever.
Daenerys, yes.
Any cards I found of her, I just bought because I know people like her stuff.
Yeah, she's the best card that sells in all of those.
Correct. So I just bought whatever base I could find of those. Let's see. Trying to find those stupid broken ice cards. They're so amazing. I totally forgot I had all this stuff just floating around in a random bag. Yeah, these have to be listed yet. These have to be listed yet. It's got to be in this one because it's the only other one I did. I bought a bunch of these little Lord of the Rings like caricature cards too.
Mm-hmm.
The Gollum card was pretty sweet.
Yep.
Right. I got a bunch of that stuff. Anytime you can find Gandalf stuff always sells. Like the stained glass cards, right?
Yes, I love those.
Let's see. Oh, they're in here. Sweet. So these are the ones. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell. I can put my hand behind here. Let me get a white piece of paper.
Oh, here you go, Adam. There is a dealer list you can download that gives you the table number, and then you can go right to it on the interactive map.
Perfect. That's what we want. So isn't this cool?
So is that like a bullet hole window or something?
No, I think it's supposed to be the drugs. That's what I was thinking.
In between a couple of slides? Well, break it open and test it.
Well, no, I mean okay, so you make the drug as a solid sheet and then you crack it.
I don't know. I never dealt drugs before. Jeez, how am I supposed to know?
That's what they do on the show. That's
Is this what you were doing in Holland or what?
No, I wish. It would have made a lot more money. Amateur soccer doesn't pay very well.
I couldn't even tell the difference between a THC gummy and a Haribo gummy bear.
I can help you with that. that I know. All right. So anyway, those were some of the ones that I just found today, sitting in a box. So, gotta love that. Yeah, I'm gonna sell just those 3 Gus foil cards. I'm gonna get at least $35-$40 for those.
Nice.
those three. So yeah, it's nice pickup.
Yeah, well, I'm working my tail off trying to get ready for the fall football schedule. You're out there getting more cards.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Actually,
Hopefully I'm just about done. Now what are you digging for?
nothing. I'm putting them back.
Oh, okay.
All about organization, my man.
I know about
Yeah, this past weekend I stopped at a show basically to just drop off flyers. I do have some video from that too, but obviously I've been pretty busy here with other stuff. But yeah, I just kind of stumbled across something, and it was like, this kid just wants to get rid of this stuff, and he's got a whole box of Jordans. I'm going to take a stab at it.
I'm your Huckleberry.
And I've got most of them listed. I might even have all of them listed. And sometimes I forget how liquid Jordan stuff is, but I listed them, and it was like bang, 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 bang. There's a 90-91 Fleer card that I got like 24 copies of or something. So I put them out there at $5, $4.99. I think the average selling price was like $5.50, but I'm like, oh, I want to move some of these, And it was just sell. Now I raised the price to $7.99 because I only got 10 left. Like the stuff just goes flying, I did have one guy buy 10 of them, so that probably helped move the needle a little bit there. But yeah, so it's so somebody had made a comment on my YouTube earlier today or yesterday, I can't remember, today or yesterday, about, hey, you talked about moving out of some of the low end, and I see you're still buying low end stuff. And I'm like, it's really hard to define what's low end, right? Like if I can buy a bunch of cards at 29 cents a piece and they sell almost instantly at $7.99, is that low end? I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like the big box buys, when the dealers are like, here, have these for pretty much nothing, that even if they're long tail and they take you some time to get listed, it's like free money. I'm not going to walk away from the free money either just to go spend money out of the $5 box. So
yeah.
But this weekend, all I bought that box of Jordans. I bought a few Kobe Bryant cards, just stuff that super liquid stuff. I wouldn't really consider any Prism Kobe card as low end.
Yeah. Speaking of Kobe, I was shocked to find a Kobe in that row of that monster box I went through.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was watching the one from yesterday, and I was like, ooh, it was pretty rough because
it started off really rough.
I hate quarter boxes full of junk rookies. If I pull a stack out and it's junk rookies, I leave. I don't even spend 5 minutes there.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, he's gonna get smoked.
As much. I just kind of went once or twice through the middle of it, and I was like, yeah, I'll take them both. And so that
especially football, right? Because generally, if you're not good at football right from the start, that's it.
Right.
Baseball can be the exception. You can get an entire box of like first Bowman cards and kind of sit on them, and you'll probably get some players out of there in the future that have, with value.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh dang, and it was like absolute rookies. They weren't even like good brands. And I'm like, man, you are gonna get smoked.
But then
you hit a nice stack of Shaqs. I do very well with Shaqs. So.
Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, I would take a rack of any of those guys any day. So, and I've been very fortunate. All my boxes, that's all what it's been too. Started going through a new one. I didn't make a video of it because, like I said, I had so much else going on. Really wanted to do a tour video before I got on here tonight, so that it wasn't like, I didn't want to spend half the night going, with people going, hey, what's the ball on your shelf back there? Hey, what's the, I kind of wanted to give that information ahead of time.
Right.
But anyway, I was digging through one of the baseball boxes, and there's a bunch of vintage in there, like good vintage.
Really?
Yeah, like unmarked team checklist cards from the 60s and stuff. Like, dude, that's one of my home run. Yeah, I buy checklist cards intentionally. I know a lot of people like to throw them in quarter boxes, which is why I love them, because they are something you can kind of find. fairly regularly. But yeah, I guess this is how I look at it now, because you can move quantity, you can offer discounts, you can do things like you can take some of that long tail stuff and make it short tail if you take less profit. If you buy them, especially for like nothing, 2 cents a card, right? So I guess I'm looking at it like, as long as I can get the stuff listed, and now that we can scan like so much more than we were able to before with non-sport, and soccer is in there now, and wrestling and UFC and like all this stuff, racing. Um, I'm kind of like, well, if I can get a good deal on low, not super low end stuff, not a box of absolute football rookies, but a box of, mid 80s Nolan Ryan stuff, and newer Mike Trout stuff and Judge stuff, like, dude, I'm not going to pass that up. There's no way that's going to happen. And then, if I'm intentionally looking for single card purchases, then I'm going to look in the $5 boxes and stuff like that, which is kind of how I did this last show. I didn't even stop at the ATM and bring any money with me. I just had whatever cash I had on me. And it's kind of hard to walk around and just promote a show and hand out flyers and not do any shopping with the dealers. So I bought like a Superstars Prism pack that has like a Prism draft, but it had like Barry Sanders, Peyton Manning. There's probably like 40 cards in there. I got it for $2.
Yeah.
So I bought that from a dealer, and it was there's a Pokemon dealer next to him, so I got a couple flyers out to those guys. One of the guys actually just booked the table. That's that Pokemon guy that booked yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That worked out. But I was like, well, and I'm at a show, I can't not look and stuff like that. It's in my blood. And then I ran into the Jordan kid, and I'm like, what do you want for the whole box? And he's like, throw me out a number. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to get good, because I think he doesn't know what to do with this, and he's just going to wait for my number and then counter me. So I wanted it's like 630 cards. It's a legit number of cards. It looks like, actually it was more than that, like 650 or something like that. And a few inserts. There's also the baseball SP, which goes for like $30-$40 on its own. That's on the hot list all the time, up and down, on and off of it. And anyway, so I was like, 125, I think I offered him. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look at the video, but I think it was 175 I offered him.
Okay. I was going to say, I probably would have been around 200.
Yeah, well, that's where I wanted to end up, right? Because I know if I put the first number out, that's not where we're going to land.
Yeah.
So then he came back at 200, like you said, and I said 185, and he said, nope, 190 is my bottom price, and I said, let's do it. So I had to go use the ATM in the bar, pay the $2 fee, which is nothing in this instance, to get the cash to go, come buy them out. So and then what's funny about it was there was a few not Jordan cards in there, so I don't know if they just got stuck in there from somebody else, but one of them was a Tyrese Halliburton pink Illusions rookie.
Oh, there you go.
And I listed, there was actually a few different Halliburton rookies in there, some Prism, some red, white, and blue Prism. But I already sold the pink Illusions for like $5. So I was like, geez, and that was like a freebie, thrown in on top of it.
That's Stu approved.
Yeah. And I've sold a lot of Jordan recently. When the basketball season ends, people go to the GOATs, from that sport. And so it's just timing. Everything was just right to do it. And
interesting you say that, because I'm working on the next edition of the liquidity list, and we're back to the basketball rotation. And I'm
Soccer.
curious. I'll look into that. I'm curious to see if Jordan reclaims the top spot, because since I started doing it, he's had a week at the top spot, and then Wemby took him over again. But with the season ending, I'm really curious if he shoots back up now.
Well, I did my part.
You did.
So, that's all I can say for that one. But yeah, Jordan's he's not going away ever. And if you buy a stack of Jordan, even if it's, and I love to buy when it's 25 copies of a card. That's my favorite, because you can sell the quantity. It's one listing. It's super quick. That's what I was looking for. They were all organized. they were top loaded. So I got, $30 worth of top loads out of it too.
There you
But
go.
so, but anyway, yeah, it, but it really made me think when I saw that comment on YouTube, like, hey, I thought you were going to the mid end. And I'm like, well, what's mid end?
Well, I mean, when we're used to shopping in
$10?
boxes that are $1 or less, I think as soon as we start moving up to $5, $10, selections on a table, we're moving up into that mid end because we're truly the lowest end usually, right?
Mhm.
Like we buy cards for a penny. You can't get any lower
Mhm.
than that.
Yeah.
Well, we've gotten free cards too, so I guess you can.
But if I'm buying a Jordan card for 29 cents and selling it for $8 the next day, like I don't know how you could do better than that, and in quantity.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know that I could get a $10 card for $1.50
Right.
and
And
sell
you're
it for $10 the next day. Like the it's really hard to match that up, I guess.
right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, like super commons and absolute football rookies, no name rookies and stuff. Yeah, I'm not buying any of that stuff at all. And I kind of hadn't in the past either, unless it just got thrown in a lot. I'm sure I've got some in those boxes from stuff that I bought. But that's going to go into, I have my box. I don't know if you can see it. It's right up here.
I do see
That
it.
little cardboard box up there. That's my box to throw in cards that I'm just going to list on buy sports cards, BSC.
I'm proud of you for having that box there. We were just talking about that before we went live.
Yeah.
You gotta have a
I
random box somewhere.
Well, I wanted to keep that one. It's not going to stay there. It's going to have a place, but I wanted to keep that one separate when we were moving. That's why it's up on a high spot, because it's not eBay inventory. It's for another website. So
Yeah.
my few numbers on the bags, they're all bagged, but they're in that box until they have their own designated area.
I actually put aside a stack of hockey here for BSC as well, because they're all commons. So I'm gonna try and put them on BSC.
So my biggest, well, right now they're not paying you to list, so I'm not real encouraged to go over there right now.
I'm not in a hurry.
I'll just keep filling my box until they're going to pay me again.
Yeah.
But they don't have. I mean, it's pretty quick to list on there because it's just a couple of fields you got to fill. But there's really no way to really rip them in there quickly.
Unless you sort your cards and have a whole set together, where you can just go down the list and go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Right.
Yeah.
And to some degree, you'll have that in little chunks, but not like an entire box or anything.
Right.
For the most part. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's I want to continue to build them out, but it's going to be sporadic at best. And right now, I have so much like quality stuff to list on eBay.
Actually, I'm rethinking this now. I might put those in my dime box, because how much hockey do you see in dime boxes and stuff?
I mean, you could try them. Yeah, you could try it.
Yeah.
I mean, my dime boxes are full, so basically whatever doesn't go in there is going to go somewhere else. And
yeah,
for the most part, like if we're paying to be at a show, like our goat show is going to be great because we don't have to pay for the table. We're literally bringing our own table.
Yeah,
it's not going to take away from our table count. Then whatever you sell is pure money, right? But for the most part, if we're paying $50 for a table, you're not making a ton when you're selling the dime cards. Even if you sell a bunch of them. So in that case, it might still be better to put it on BSC if it isn't taking too much of your time. That's
right.
That's the other key to that. But I've had a couple of sales on there. Cards that I definitely wouldn't have sold on eBay because I wouldn't have listed them there mainly. But still, it was like. And a customer has to place at least a $3 order, so you're not going to get screwed, selling a 25-cent card, and it's pretty solid pairing with eBay. It's not going to trump them ever, but.
And that's actually why I was thinking to myself, like, this is the stack I was showing is almost a whole blaster box of Parkhurst. That's all Parkhurst, so that's all one set. So it'd be pretty quick to list. This is all Metal Universe, so it's all the same set. So those might be quick, but the real reason I was like, oh, this might be a perfect opportunity for BSC is because I need to get enough cards out there for someone to make a $3 purchase.
Right.
Right now,
That's
I only
true.
have like less than 20 cards out there.
Yeah, I've got, I don't know. I ended up listing like 300 and some cards.
Yeah.
I took a break from some of the cheapies and did some graded stuff just because it was 20 cents a listing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's pretty decent free money there. 5 times what they pay you for a raw. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll have to see, how that ends up taking off. But I think it was a fun experiment. I talked to some of the team there. They seem pretty knowledgeable, and I don't even think I've received my payout on my orders yet because it's like 10 days for payout. Let's go back and check. I didn't even check my bank account yet
Yeah.
for it. But, and I don't know if I've gotten the payout for the promotional money either, for the listing money.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if they paid that out yet either, or when they pay that out. So I have to do some checking on that because I'm like, well, until I get money, I'm probably not going to put anything else on, like pay me, right? Right. So I just want to kind of make sure that things are working before I put any more time into it.
Sure.
That way. So I suppose we should get into the chat. We'll try to run through some of these. I'm at 46% battery, so I'm definitely gonna have to go up and
46%.
Yep, I'm gonna have to go up and grab a charger. Dude, we're live streaming 4K video. Like there's nothing
Over
that drains your
100% when we
battery more.
started.
No, I was at like 76%.
You got to be prepared, man. You need a full battery charge before we go live.
Yeah, no, I never have a full battery charge. I'm on my phone all day long. All right,
Good
so
evening, Joe.
Joe is here. Good evening. Hey, yo, are you ready? Yeah, we were a little late tonight. Sorry about that. Card Vibe, 14 days away. I know, isn't it crazy? It doesn't seem like it's going to get up soon, but yeah. Get your comfy shoes ready, your cargo shorts so you can carry all your stuff, your backpacks, your hydration, your water bottles, get all your stuff ready to go. And bring cash. What's up, guys? Love the new background and office space. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of work getting everything done down here. And
we were talking about that back in January, I think.
But we've been working down. You have to remember, this is a 1,400 square foot basement. It's like doing a whole house. We did a kitchen. We did a full bath. Well, kind of a full bath. I didn't put a shower in. I put a urinal in instead. We did the theater. We did a workshop. We have a storage area. My office, the arcade. That's like building on an entire house. Egress window, all the doors, all the closets, everything is it's just time consuming when you're doing it all yourself. But yeah, we're pretty.
Egress window yourself?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
No, we did that with the one of the stimulus checks. We had that put in. Yeah, it's a good use of that instead of buying another giant TV at Walmart like everybody else did. But we knew we wanted some living space down here. Was planning to work down here, spend time down here in the theater, stuff like that. So it was like an egress window made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And this is a completely underground basement because I live on a hill, so you're looking at like no windows, without that. So just for some natural light, cuts down the cost of having to turn lights on, and an escape route obviously is the main reason you need to have it. But yeah, so yeah, we're pretty far along there. All the I shouldn't say all. Some of the door trim needs to be put on. Needs to be made. We make our own trim, so we got to do that. And then all the baseboards. We haven't done any of the baseboards in any of the rooms yet. So, because we weren't sure what we were going to do for built-ins and stuff like that. You don't want to put baseboards on and put a built-in in and take the baseboards off. And so now we kind of are permanently happy with what we have. We can go get those. Oh, and the ceiling in the kitchen and the ceiling in the arcade have to go in.
Okay.
So the arcade's gonna be drywalled. That won't be too tough. But the kitchen needs ceiling that can be removable because all my stuff runs through there. All my plumbing, all that. I have well and city water. I don't know if you knew that, but I have
Yeah.
both. I have both. So the pump is in my far closet in the kitchen area there by the freezer and stuff. And not the pump, the bladder, the big canister with the
Yeah.
bladder in it. That's in there. So we have to be able to get to that if there's problems with that. So we don't really want to drywall the ceiling and then have to rip it out.
Right.
We're talking about doing like some kind of flooring on the ceiling, removable panels. The design of that space is kind of medieval English Irish pub style is sort of the
Okay.
decor we were going for. The rock and all that stuff and the sword and the axe and um so like a cool like wood floor ceiling would look appropriate for something like that. And we got the beams in there and um so anyway, we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for enjoying the video. I'm glad when I was making it, I'm like, is anybody gonna care about this? Like my crap. But then I was like, I want to do a video of the office, but really an office is boring. It's like four walls with your crap that you sell and some office equipment. I'm like, this is gonna be like 2 minutes long and stupid. So I was like, you know what? We did some other cool work down here. I've got some cool spaces in the house, the arcades that I made and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought, what the hell? I'll show the whole area and my work space, not just my office. This is my office, but there's a table out there. So if I get tired of it being in here, I can take a box and go sort cards out there.
Yep.
I can take a break and go watch, some soccer in the theater and chill out. I can go make some popcorn. I've got my urinal, for that situation. And I don't know. So I just thought it would be kind of fun to share the actual space where my non-sports stuff is and some of my display. And when I'm done, like all the floorboards are in and trim's all done and my card cases out there are filled the way I want them filled and the shelves are all completely organized the way I want, I'll do a little update video. You can kind of see the final result. All right, Troy Barton is here. Good evening, Wednesday night crew. Ooh.
Right.
Adam, have you listed your new Jordan 600 cart purchase and how is it going? We did touch on this a little bit. Yes, I think I have them all listed. I might have like one or two cards left, but very, very well. I've probably sold 150 of those cards already, I'm guessing, somewhere in there. Easy money. And so I should probably go back and look at the actual numbers. Maybe I should have been prepared for this, but I'm guessing I probably doubled my money already. Just thinking off the top of my head, and then I've got the rest of the stuff to sell. So what I do with quantity listings, and I should probably point this out since we kind of touched on it and it fits with this. So what I do is like if I have 25 copies of a card, I will price it like at or just a few cents under the current market. Okay. So if the card's going for, if last sale was $4.99 or average sale was $4.99, I might price it at $4.75, right? Just because I have quantity and I want to get some of them moved. And then as the quantity depletes, then I'll raise my price.
Okay.
And I do this for a couple of reasons. One, you don't want to sit on like 100 copies of something. Take you forever to sell through it. Two, you'll get into that algorithm right away, right? So you get those first couple of copies sold, you're in the algorithm. If you change the price, it doesn't take you out of the algorithm. So now, if I'm selling them at $4.75 and I bump it up now to $5.99, I'll get sales at $5.99. As a matter of fact, that Fleer card I was telling you about where I just bumped it up to $7.99, I had a sale within like 5 minutes after I changed the price.
Okay.
So that's how you can sort of increase the price. And then once I have one sell at $7.99, somebody else who goes in and looks at the card says, "Oh, there was a recent sale for $7.99. That's the going price. I'll buy one." Right. So to me, that's how you can kind of. And I didn't do promotions on any of those cards, by the way. They all sold without any extra cost to me, other than actually, the regular eBay fee. So that's the other beauty of that is if you've got those 25 listed, you can start moving some of them, get into the algorithm. You might be able to sell through all of them before you have to add any promotions to it. So that's how I do it. You know, I
That'd
mean,
be ideal, right?
that would be ideal. I actually had no intentions of spending $190 on a box of cards on Saturday, Saturday, I don't remember, Sunday. But it fell into my lap. I took it, and I wanted to get some of my money back right away. So no brainer. So I have basically 450 free Jordan cards left to sell, and double my money. So I got my money back plus my profit off of the ones that did sell. It's kind of within a week, less than a week. So kind of a no brainer. Maybe I'll do a sales day video tomorrow because I have a bunch of Jordans that sold today that I got to pack up and ship tomorrow. So maybe I'll do that, and you guys can see some transparency and see that they have been selling. Although Charlie knows, just ask Charlie because he goes and looks at all my sales.
Yep.
And then I don't know what he does with that information, but you can have him go look at it, and he can go see some of those Jordan sales and let you guys know if I'm lying or not. Soccer has been moving nicely for me. I've had some pickup in soccer too. Sold a couple of Messi cards today. It was funny. Did you see his goal yesterday?
I didn't. Yeah.
These last couple of goals with Messi at the national level have made me chuckle because he had the one a couple games ago where the goalie just threw the ball right to him and he just put the ball in the net. Remember we were talking about that?
Yeah, I remember last week there was one. Yeah.
And then last night, I think it was Julian Alvarez, took a shot and then it would have been saved. So, I mean, credit to Messi, he does get the goal, but he basically just kind of nicked it a little bit and it went in the net. And I'm like, dude, these aren't even shots, but that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Yeah. But he still had to get himself into the right position and he did, there's credit due where credit's due, but not really his best. They're not going to make his highlight reel, But yeah, soccer's been doing okay. That Yamil, I can't remember his name. That 16-year-old kid who scored for Spain yesterday. He is popping off. His stuff is just selling like mad fire. Sold a couple of his cards, one yesterday and one today. I don't have anything big of him, but just from buying soccer, I have a few. Kevin De Bruyne has been selling really well. I think he's up. I know Manchester City put like a $2 billion price tag on him if somebody wants to buy him out of transfer. And I was like, ooh. It's not going to happen. I sold a bunch of Mbappe. I had a couple of Mbappe sales today. He is transferring, so he's going to be on a Premier League team, so that'll get him a lot more attention. Not that he doesn't get a lot of attention as it is, but yeah. With Copa, getting to the semifinals here, Jude Bellingham's been selling really well. I went through that box of stuff from the Nationals that I just found, and I have some Jude Bellingham rookies in there. So
Ooh.
I'm gonna try to pop those up tomorrow. They're just match attacks, I think, but yeah, his stuff is pretty easy to move.
I've got a little bit of soccer left I didn't list. I should really pull it out and see if there's anybody, lesser names in there that maybe are doing good in Copa right now, and see if it's a good time to list them.
I mean, you just kind of want to look at like what teams are still in it, right? And then kind of go off of that. So Spain, England, Argentina, that's probably where I'd focus. If you don't know the players, that's where I'd focus. And then try to find the young talent on those teams. So Jude Bellingham, this Ymir, I'm totally saying this kid's name wrong, but look, you'll know who I'm talking about if you go look at the Spain, the youngest Spanish player to ever score.
Yeah.
In Copa. Now, Mbappe's out because France lost, so you kind of missed your boat on maybe picking up some extra sales of him. But
that stuff, all those names, like I list them as soon as I get.
Yeah, Mbappe sells all the time. Yeah. And with the transfer and stuff, I think getting to a team with a little bit better vision than Paris Saint-Germain, I think that's gonna get them another boost besides. And the Premier League teams, their fan bases, like you think NFL fans are rabid, those fans are insane. In a good way, like for support of their teams in their town and stuff. So yeah, I think soccer still has a very bright future in cards for sure. Oh, I found a Messi rookie card too. Check this out.
What?
Yeah.
Just lying around?
No, it was in that box with the national stuff. So the one that I had priced for a card show like forever ago,
Oh, okay.
750. I knew I had two of them, and I had the other one the other day, and then I was wondering where the other one was, and it was in this box. So random.
Nice.
Yeah. So find Messi stuff. You want to hang on to that. But yeah, here's a bunch of here's the soccer stuff that I just found. Have some old Fleer Action football too. Those are one of my favorite little honey holes. Also found an Oswaldo Cabrera rookie.
Yeah.
His stuff sells. I found this
Any Yankees rookie will sell for a while.
Garrett Mitchell,
Yeah.
Philly Brewers.
He just came back last week.
Here's a Jude when he was with Borussia and stuff. So yeah, it's good to have just random boxes of stuff lying around sometimes too. And I got a whole set of Back to the Future. I got over. I got that too. So, and I just again got lazy with them because I didn't feel like photographing each one and
Yeah.
putting them on my own. And then I have a whole pack, also in that box, of the Jordan stickers from Panini or from Upper Deck, the Upper Deck sticker books. So it's like all the puzzles and stuff
Oh, okay.
left. So here's the one. It's him flying in the air kind of thing, and Jordan shoes. Can never go wrong with Jordan shoes. There he is. So I kind of got a maybe assembled, because I got a pretty good stack of them here. Got to maybe assemble some of the puzzles and sell them that way.
Right.
Because I think this might be a tough sell on its own versus
Yeah. Who's that?
the puzzle set. So I think that would be because I got them in this little snap box thing. So, but again, you can see why that stuff is the stuff that sits around and doesn't get listed because it sucks. It's not fun to do. I gotta put them together and take the bigger photos, and yeah, it's a pain. So anyway, I'm at 37%. We'll take a couple more comments, and I'm gonna have to bounce out for a minute
All right.
because I gotta run upstairs. I didn't have any more charger cables down here, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think you said you're going to the Nationals, but are you driving or flying? Would love to have you swing by my shop south of Purdue.
Oh.
Yeah, that could be fun. We are driving. There's three of us going. It's about a 7 to 7.5 hour trip, so we'll probably split it between the three of us for driving, so we don't go insane. I've done these kind of trips many a times. Not bad. But yeah, as far as like our extracurricular activities outside the National, we don't really have that planned out that well.
Right.
But since you brought it up, I'd love to do like a dinner one night at the National. If any of you want to, join us for that. So maybe we can kind of get some sort of plan together with that, Charlie, and we can post it on our YouTubes. Just as a post, not a video or whatever. Just make a post. Hey, we're gonna have dinner at this place at this time on this night. If you can join us, that would be awesome, and we'll have a little goat dinner. We'll bring some goats. Bring some goats with us, and I think that could be fun. It's really hard.
For dinner.
Right. It's really hard to plan on running into people at the National itself because it's just, at least in Chicago, it was. It's so big and there's so much going on that it just doesn't work out that well. And the other problem that I found last year was you guys know what I look like, but I don't know what you look like for the most part. So you're going to have to find us if you want to do that because we're not going to know who you are. So I think like a night with a dinner might be kind of fun to try to do it that way. If we can get, 4 or 5 regular viewers and chat people out there, that I think that could be a good time, and take some pictures and talk about some experiences and how the show's going and things like that, and do some in person, share some beers. I think
Yeah.
that would be fun. All right. Now, if this was in Chicago, I'd be like, well, let's go to this hotel connected to the convention center, and we'll do it. That's a little bit. This one's a little bit. You kind of have to pick a place and set it up a little bit more,
Yeah.
rather than an obvious location.
And our hotel, I think, is 20 minutes away from the convention
It's like
center.
15 minutes, I think, when I put in the address for driving. So
Yeah.
not super far away, not super close. We just have to work with it. I don't know that I want a bunch of people to try to come out to our hotel. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It'd probably make more sense to find like a restaurant that we like around there.
Yeah.
That's
Hopefully
close.
that's close by.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe something, a sports bar kind of thing, would fit, something like that, where we could just, hang, and should be fun. You can sell the free autograph tickets they give you with the VIP package. Oh boy, do I ever. Yes. So usually what happens, and again, I'm speaking for Chicago because I haven't gone to the National at other locations, but usually I wait in my line to go up and get my VIP bags, and you got to do your scan and get your badge and all that stuff. As soon as I walk away from that, it's kind of like ticket scalpers, right? There's like a row of like guys standing there, and they'll kind of hit you up like, "Hey, do you want your autograph tickets?" "No." "I'll give you $25 for your autograph tickets." "Sold." And I just get rid of them right away there. So
Right.
that's what I'll plan to do. As long as somebody's interested in them, they're going to be gone, or I'll trade them for their promo packs, or something. They don't do me any good because I'm not going to use them, so I'll take whatever value I can get on them. And if that covers $25 to $40 of my VIP ticket, works for me.
Yeah.
Memory Lane is allowing attendees to hold a T206. Not much of a line guy myself. I don't know that there's going to be as much of a line as you think there is. So I took my picture with Hannes Wagner. PSA 2 at the time, it was the most valuable card. I think it was $6 million or something it ended up going for. It was on auction at the National a couple of years ago. And there was like no line. I literally just walked up to the card and the card's in a glass casing, and all that. It's not just laying on a table, but kind of just walked right up to it and took pictures, and I walked around, and there was some giant gorilla men standing around there, observing what you're doing, but there wasn't like a line or anything. Last year they did.
Bouncer on Golden's Collectibles show.
Yeah. Oh my God, that show is so fake. It's amazing. It makes me laugh every time when it's like, yeah. Anyway, love or hate Ken Golden. He's Ken Golden. You can't substitute him. He's who he is. He seems like a pawn shop type guy. You know what I mean? Like he fits the bill. Very successful gentleman though. But yeah, last year they did the Babe Ruth bat. I think it was Memory Lane that did that one too, where you could hold the Babe Ruth bat. There was a line, like Saturday is nuts to do anything. So don't plan to do anything that other people will want to do at the same time as you on Saturday if you can help it. But I remember like Thursday and Friday, there wasn't that many people there. You could go up and hold the Babe Ruth bat almost any time of the day.
Do they let you take like a selfie with it?
Yeah, they have like a person that'll take a picture for you if you want it. So yeah, you can take a picture with it. Now the Hannes that I took a picture with, you couldn't handle it. It was in a big glass like pillar thing. You could take a picture with it, but not holding it.
Okay.
This one you're going to be able to hold it. Now after what happened at
Dallas
last week, they might start changing some of their ideas on that. But I have a feeling Memory Lane's been doing this stuff a long time. I've sold some really, really large valuable pieces. I think they have a plan for just about everything that could possibly happen. So we'll see what happens that way. But it would be kind of cool to hold a Hannes Wagner, because I will never be able to buy one, of course.
Yeah.
Like most of the rest of you. Even if I could, I don't think I would spend my money on that. That's the rich among the rich that do that kind of stuff. So
Richie Rich?
might even be more than Richie Rich because I think that was is that the one that just got graded to PSA 6 or something, like some insane grade?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That guy who just found it in it was on Golden, the one that was on Golden. Did you watch their new season?
I haven't made it past like episode 2.
Okay, so there's, spoiler alert, there's this guy in this big money guy, right? Okay. Who bought this card off of a guy who found this Hannes Wagner in an attic.
Yeah.
Got it graded and authenticated and everything, and Golden's been trying to buy it off of him, and the guy's like, I want like $200 million or something crazy.
Yeah.
And Golden thinks it'll go for like 50 million, something like that.
Okay.
So I think that's the one that Memory Lane is going to be handling, but I could be wrong. I don't follow that stuff that much. Like, dude, guys, I sell cards, but I'm not that into it. So this is my job. This is my business. Because I'll get messages sometimes from people that are like, oh, you must have like, Jordan rookies on your wall and Mantle 51 Bowmans, and like, no, I don't do that. I've got some pretty nice higher end stuff. Yeah. Whoops. But
it was nice.
Yeah, I just dropped it. Good thing it's graded, right?
Cracked it.
It's in a freaking. Who cares? It's in a BGS. It needs to be cracked anyway. The only way I wouldn't consider cracking that, would be if it was a 9.5, right? Because I'm not going to get a 10 with PSA. So the best you could hope for would be a 9, and why would you go from a 9.5 to a 9?
Right.
So, but at a 9, I could probably cross and have a good shot at a 9 with PSA, but I don't know. Whatever. What's the point? Again, it's not a key enough card. Oh, I found some more striped rookies too. I'd been buying those by the hordes back in the day when no one cared, and now they're like worth a ton of money, of course. So I found some of those in one of my graded card boxes. They're not graded, but they were stuck in one of my graded card boxes because they were supposed to go to grading, and I never did it. So it's been lucrative moving. I found some stuff like, dude, this stuff's like worth some money.
You went through some boxes that were sitting around, huh?
Yeah, for sure. NSCC website has an interactive map with the dealers. Yes, thank you so much. I will be checking that out. Are you seeing an upward trend on 90s baseball sales? So here, you want to know what's really weird, Charlie? You want to know, and now you probably know this because you look at my sales, but guess who my biggest baseball seller has been the last week? Let's say week.
Oh, the last week?
Like outside of Jeter and like, the ones that's
Will
always
Clark.
No, Juan Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah, I knew you had sold a few of them.
Juan Gonzalez. I sold another 5 or 6 of them this past week.
His name is Juan Gone.
Juan Gone. I sold some Ivan Rodriguez, which I had gotten some,
His name is
Pudge. I had gotten some unintentionally, over time, and I started listing them, and I'm like, oh, they don't sell, and then boom, I sold a few of those, so that was good. But yeah, I would say 90 stuff has done pretty well, which is good because I got a couple of big boxes of some of that. Ryan Sandberg stuff has been selling really well lately. He's been kind of in the news with his statue unveiling, and he's always kind of stayed in the Cubs net offices, like in their network, if you will, doing some coaching and some other things. So, he kind of pops up, fan favorite type of thing. Yeah, I think 90s baseball has been doing okay. Nolan Ryan, Chipper Jones. I've sold some Andrew Jones lately, and I have some Andrew Jones rookies, Bowman Chrome rookies. Yeah.
I still hear Jim Rome in my head every time I hear Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones. He was good. He was a good player. Yeah, there's definitely some that don't. Like, I can't sell Albert Bell to save my life, or Kenny Lofton, or some of those guys who were amazing, for their short stint in the 90s, but they just don't have much hobby. So speaking of 90s baseball, remember those Smoking Heat sets I got for free?
Roger
I just had
Clemens.
somebody, yeah, I just had somebody buy a complete set of them.
Nice.
Yeah, per card. So not even buy the set. They just purchased one of each card.
Oh, okay.
And that's all 90s like pictures and stuff. So you've got some normal names on there like Randy Johnson and that kind of thing. But then there's like Mike Messina and I'm trying to think of the one that's really strange. Hirschfeld or something like that is in there.
Oral Hershiser.
No, that's not it. I can't. I'm not going to pull it up right. I'm think of it right now. I have to get to my computer and look that up. Um, but bought all of them, whether it was a big name or a small name. So that was kind of cool. Frank Thomas has been doing pretty well for me lately, which is of course the 90s. So yeah, I would say that there's some upward trend on 90s cards, especially if you got some cool inserts, stuff like that. Those tend to do okay. But this is the way I look at it. So people are like, "Oh, junk wax 90s, I don't want those." Well, in a way, that's kind of perfect because they're going to give them to you cheap, right?
Yeah.
And then think about it. Everything's based on a nostalgia, right? The only reason we buy men on cardboard, because the whole concept is insane if you think about it,
Yep.
spending money for any of this stuff, is that's our nostalgia, right? That's our art. Um, I like action figure prices are insane. There's entire stores, online stores, physical stores that literally just sell action figures. That blows my mind. Like that wouldn't have been a business model back in the day, right?
Yeah.
But even this, I got this long time ago. I think I paid $20 for it at Disney.
Ooh, a
This is
thermal detonator.
yeah, it's a hot potato game. So you turn it on and the little things go, and then it eventually explodes. Right? Pretty cool little toy, right? I think I paid
Wait,
$20.
let me see the back of that again. What is C-3PO doing?
Tossing a ball.
Oh my gosh, he's tossing something. That's inappropriate. Is that
Well,
the famous goldenrod card I've heard about?
look who's playing catch.
Oh, Boba Fett.
So anyway, so I bought one of these for 20, $25, whatever the heck it was back then. When did this come out? 2013. So it's
Okay.
10 years old, right?
When the new movies came out.
Yeah. And now somebody mentioned it to me the other day, or didn't mention to me, they were posting about it or whatever. These go for like $175
Wow.
on eBay. So I'm like, yeah, pull that off my shelf and sell it.
I mean,
I have a real one. I have an actual replica, all metal, that has the actual trigger and everything. So like, I don't need the hot potato,
stuff is actually pretty interesting. Based on a show we did a few weeks ago when we were talking about other people we watch on YouTube. Somebody mentioned Froggy Flips, and I think you watch him a little.
Yep, I do.
More of that, and that's pretty amazing what some of that stuff goes for yet.
Well, and Froggy Flips is even more extreme because he makes his entire living off his videos.
Yeah.
So there's enough people that are watching, for that kind of thing. And he buys and sells and does that, but the main reason he's doing that is for the content, at this point. Which good for him. I think that's awesome. Guys that open action figure stores and they can make a living doing that, awesome. Do it. Go for it. I kind of equate it to like when I was a kid, my mom used to drag me around to these stupid antique stores, right? And they would sell furniture and like old, light fixtures and this stuff. They made an entire business out of selling crap like that, somebody's old used furniture.
Right.
Like we don't buy furniture that way now. Furniture doesn't matter that way. It's disposable for the most part. But there's no action figures anymore. There's no play like that anymore. So now that's like our antiques, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So if you think of our generation that way, same with the cards and Pokemon and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, some of my, and you guys, I think most of you that are in this have probably watched my video, and you saw some of my like 90s Star Wars toys I have on the shelves. Like that AT-AT walker is like 500 and some bucks.
Yeah.
I remember I got it on clearance because they had like 10 or 15 of them at it was either KB or Toys R Us. I don't remember which one. Probably Toys R Us. But they had overproduced those toys in the 90s, so I probably got it on clearance for like $15 or $20 or something, and I don't have the box anymore, so that hurts a little bit, but
I was really big into the Micro Machine Star Wars sets for the longest
yeah,
time.
and those do well too. And really, where the bigger money is in the accessories. Like if you have the harder to find guns and the little brown snake for Yoda and like all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Because everybody loses them; they're so little.
Right. So the figure might be worth $10, and then the little snake is worth like 35. Right. So
Yeah.
if you were just smart enough to snag bags of parts at rummage sales and stuff over the years, you've got money there. But
Yeah.
anyway, my point is to go. We went way far off course here, but the '90s baseball, I feel like that's going to be the stuff that's going to start really picking up and getting hot, and that's kind of what I started buying and reselling. That's basically where my whole business based from. I still sell way more Farb cards than anything else. I sell a ton of '90s Farb stuff.
Yeah.
You'd think like you got to be running out of buyers for some of that crap when it's so overprinted and all that. But there's a lot more buyers and collectors now too. So
yeah, and I think in the off season, a lot of times that stuff picks up a little bit too because you don't have the distraction of the current hype cycles and stuff like that in the sport.
Right.
So then people start thinking about that nostalgia more, right?
Yeah, and I think when you're right, when the hype of like the prospects is kind of done for the season, then people go, okay, well now I want some Nolan Ryan and I want some Cal Ripken and I want some Bo Jackson. I've sold a bunch of Bo Jackson recently. Bo Jackson always sells, but he's picked up. That's '90s,
One thing that does help during season though is commentators like to make comparisons between young
Right.
stars and
Sure.
classic Hall of Famers, and then
Sure.
they get that name out there again, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, I
But-
loved watching Dante Bichette when I was a kid.
Right.
I wonder if I could find a card of his."
It's kind of like the NFL season, right? So like remember the Oakland Raiders game after Brett Favre's dad died and he threw 5 touchdowns and all that. So like when we get to that point in the season, they'll be like, 10 years ago tonight was when Brett had this amazing game, blah, 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 blah. And they'll show all these highlights, during the Packer game, and then it's like, oh my God, I gotta have some Brett Favre stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. You're right. It's funny, Kels. And I think so. Like when I was a kid, and my parents would tell me about oh, Mickey Mantle did this and did that. I didn't have access to see any of that, unless they showed it on like This Week in Baseball or any of that stuff. You didn't see it. Well, no. If I tell my kid about Barry Sanders and she's like, well, I don't get it. Why is he so good? I can be like, watch this, and I can pull it up. And then at the end of every one of those experiences, I show the Mark Sanchez butt fumble because that's the greatest play in NFL history, and it's a great way to end the experience.
Yeah.
But these kids today can see what the players we followed in the '90s, and as a matter of fact, today I was watching this little YouTube video on the greatest tragic events of the '90s that were caught on live TV or something like that, and they were talking about the World Series game. Remember when the earthquake hit?
Yeah.
The Oakland Athletics, and so they were doing this bit on like Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire and them trying to get out of the stadium, and it was. So it's like even that, it even creeps into some of that stuff. Whereas you would never hear about those guys, 20 years after their career ended, before the internet. So, but you could watch the top runs by running backs all of last season, and none of them will touch any of Barry Sanders' highlights.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, well, but you can show that now. You don't just say like, it's not like, oh yeah, that's because you were a kid in the '90s, so you watched Barry Sanders. No, let me show you. Saquon Barkley's best run here, and let me show you Barry Sanders' average up the gut run.
Yeah.
And you tell me, and and even a lot of the footage that we could see from those older games, you can't see crap. Like it's hard to tell even who it is, and the speed is way off in the video, and it's blurry, and I mean, now it's like 10 different angles of cameras, and like you can really see what's going on.
Or the kids will be talking about Patrick Mahomes throwing off balance, and you can pull up Favre and be like, look at this throw as he hopped up in the air off his back foot and drilled it in between two defenders.
I mean, his first pass he caught himself, right?
That's
I mean,
that's true.
Who's got that claim, you know? And I think it was for negative yardage, right? So his first play was less yards than So interesting stats of some of that stuff, but like if we wanted to go watch the Super Bowl again, like an older Super Bowl, like how you couldn't do that,
right?
You'd have to wait until ESPN would put it on, or 30 for 30 or something like that. Now it's like, I want to watch Super Bowl 18. I can just type it in and watch it.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I feel like that nostalgia can continue a little bit easier, and next generations can pick it up too.
Definitely.
So, all right, I'm going to let you continue on for a little bit by yourself. I'm down to 28%. I'm going to go grab a cord, and I will be back in a couple minutes.
All right. Make a run for it.
Do you need anything while I'm out?
Yeah, grab me one while you're out.
All right, you got it.
All right. Well, it's probably a good time to take care of a little bit of promotion right now, I think, and talk a little bit about the GOAT Card Show coming up in September. So we will have the GOAT Card Show coming up September 8th. We're continuing to work on everything for the show. We are booking up tables every week. So if you're in the area, you're interested in getting a table, make sure you give us a call. We've got over 80 tables, and every week we've got more and more filling up. Really good progress in getting those tables booked up. Mrs. JC3 and Mrs. Dollar Box are typically working those requests for tables out there. They're doing a great job with that. So this will be at the historic Riverside Ballroom, 1560 Main Street here in Green Bay. It's a great classic venue. A lot of great rock and roll acts have gone through there. Frequently hosts the Marine Corps Ball. It is close to some food destination. Well, I'll say destinations, food options. And it's pretty easy to get to. Lots of good parking. We'll have some dealer entries for the ease of loading everything in, and ATM on site. That's always handy, right? To make sure that you've got all of the funds you need for change or whatever it may be, or as a buyer, making sure, if like Adam, you randomly come across something and you say, that's too good to be true, you're going to have options there. So Sunday, September 8th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's right. It is Stu approved. So still working on some fun stuff for that show as well. Our goal is really to, make something a little bit different from the other shows in the area, give you a little something to choose from when you're deciding which shows you want to go to. And we want to have something that you remember for the GOAT Card Show that makes you come back every time we have a show. So we've got the information there. We've got the QR codes to sign up and take it to the information as well. Sponsored by Cardboard Legacy. They are a partner of ours in sponsoring this show. But give us a call, send us an email, let us know if you're able to come out, if you want a spot at the show as a dealer, or if you have questions as a buyer coming out to that show as well. Let us know. We'll get you anything you need. Good time to be had by all. Anything to add to that, Adam? You're back faster than I expected.
Yeah, things went well. My house is fairly organized, so I kind of knew right where stuff was. And I happened to find my biggest worry was that I would find one long enough, because, like I said, I'm kind of on this island that, I'm in the middle of the room essentially. So I need to make sure it could get out to my outlets, but it wasn't a problem. Wasn't a problem. So,
nice.
Yeah. So we're good. No, this is kind of the outdated version. We have a logo that we had professionally designed. So sort of the shadow goat there is going to be replaced with our new logo. It's a goat screaming with some cards coming out of his mouth. Pretty fun logo there that we're going to be able to hopefully do a lot more with in the future as things go. We're just trying to get this first show under our belt. Got a lot of good ideas. Really want to make it family focused, and there's so many times we've been at shows where we hear, oh, my wife only lets me go to one a month, and I got the kids next weekend, so I can't go to a show. We want to make it so that a family could come, and there's food and there's drinks and there's a place to sit, which a lot of shows lack. I think it'll be good to. I think it'll be a good experience. One of the things I really like about this location is it's this huge open hall, right? So easy to get around. The bathrooms are right at the hall, so you just kind of go into the bathroom, come back out, and you're right back into the card hall. It's not all split up and hallways and walking around, and there's gonna be good lighting, tons of parking. It's a good location, so I think we kind of hit the basics you gotta get. I think we nailed really well, and now we just need to build on that and make it more of a special experience. There you go.
There you go.
So you can see our logo on there. We do have our QR codes on there. Of course, me and Charlie's channels are on there, and then also the QR to go directly to the Facebook page for the show and the event. And it's free, of course, to get in. Tables we've sold quite a few tables, but there are still some available if you're looking for them. It's $50 for the first table, $40 for each additional. And we just love to have as many dealers as possible. I spent Sunday, and again, I have video of this too. I haven't been able to put something together yet, but I spent Sunday at a show just kind of handing out some flyers and trying to talk to some dealers that had some different types of things, some non-sport cards and gaming cards and things like that. Just we really want to have a good variety where an entire every type of collector, every type of investor, kids, adults, women, men, there's going to be stuff for everyone, and that's a very important to us. And then we're going to add some community focus in the future. That's a big goal too, is to find a way where we can use the show as an opportunity to give back to our community as well.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be working on that as well. But we're still ironing out some of the basic stuff, just getting logo stuff set up and, making sure we have enough tables and contacting dealers and getting, once you kind of do a show and you have like regular dealers who want to come back and you had customers there that had a good experience and want to come back, like you don't have to do as much of that. Like now it's all about marketing.
Right?
Yeah, like we have to spend most of our time and our money and our efforts on marketing and getting the word out and social media and all that. I have a new commercial that I've been working on, I think is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to try to spit into my videos. I'll share it with Charlie too if he wants to use it. And then, use that as sort of a way to put out on social media too, to draw some more attention. And but once we get this first one really nailed down and we know what we're doing and what we want out of it, then we can really focus on building it out and doing some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So. All right. Are we ready to move on to some more chat?
I think so.
Okay. 4,400 was a great show. I would agree. I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite show of all time, but I thought it was pretty good. So sometimes those sci-fi shows really miss the mark. It was casted pretty well, and it didn't get super hyped, which I kind of liked about it, because it didn't feel like it had to go to. It didn't have to be more than what it was. It could just be itself. And like Lost kind of had a run in there for a couple of seasons where it jumped the shark because it felt like they had to push too much. I don't know. So
they lost their way on Lost.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they got lost. All right. Got a massive bulk collection of junk wax cards. Found 3 times 1989 Topps Big Randy Johnsons. Was shocked of the value.
Hmm.
So it's fun that you mentioned Randy Johnson because that's actually a guy I've been selling more of too. I've always skipped over his stuff in boxes, even really cheap. That's the other nice thing about getting a big box at 2 cents a card. You're gonna get cards in there you wouldn't have bought at a quarter for sure. And you list those and you're like, crap, those are the first ones that sold. Like Pudge Rodriguez and Juan Gonzalez. I had a guy order like 25 Pudge and Juan cards. What the heck?
Right.
That I got pretty much for free. So yeah, and Topps Big is actually, that one's kind of floats under the radar. I sold a Topps Big Barry Bonds card. I don't know, maybe a week ago or so, and that went really well too. I think I got $6 for that card. So because it wasn't highly printed. Most of the packs ended up in, like, do you remember the fun packs? Where you buy like this cello bag and it would have like a bunch of different packs in it. So they'd have like a Topps coin pack where it would have like a coin in it, and then it would have like a micro pack with little cards. And remember that? Do you remember those?
A little bit, yeah.
And Topps Big was kind of part of that. So I think that was kind of, what they had brought them out for. That was their intention, was to kind of make it part of the party pack type of thing. But yeah, some of that stuff does well. Now they suck because they're big, so you get for shipping and all that good stuff. But and actually, what I did with mine was I took my 2 card savers and I put a sleeve on one end of the bag, a sleeve on the other end of the bag, and then I just kind of put it in between the 2 card savers.
Okay.
It kept it nice and protected, gave it some solidness, if you will. It filled out the envelope really nice, and that's how I packaged that one to ship it out. Oh, good. It's charging well. That's good. The numbers going up. It's going up instead of down. Because that's the other thing. Like you grab a cord and you grab a brick, you don't really know how well they're going to work. Like those little slow chargers. No, it's a Verizon cable. Their stuff is usually pretty good. And then it's a Samsung brick. So I grabbed like some pretty top stuff. And it's not just the normal brick. It's the brick where it's like the power head and then the plug end.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean.
I don't really use the bricks like you do.
Oh, well, you have to plug the cord into something. It's got to be a USB.
Yeah. Like mine's plugged directly into my laptop right now.
Well, and that's what I was doing before too. But actually, that was a slow charge, so this is actually going to be quicker anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right, sold 3 for 18. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It doesn't shock me. I mean, that's a Randy Johnson rookie card. So, and I don't know how many Randy Johnson Topps Big rookie cards you've seen, but I haven't seen very many. So
none.
They're in good shape. A lot of people hated the big cards. They would just toss them.
Yeah.
They're almost more annoying than minis. At least minis you can still throw in a top load.
Yeah. I just had to buy some like 4x6 sleeves just to put some of those oversized box loader cards in.
Yeah, I have some of those too, and they're kind of annoying. They do sell though.
Yeah.
I just started listing a few more of those on my little binder. If you saw in my tour, I have a little binder where I have pages in it, and I just stick those cards in there, and as they fell, I pull them out of the page and put them in, a top load or whatever. But just like the mini cards, you can't ignore them. You gotta, if you get them for the right price, you gotta play them. Nice. I love it. Nice is better than what the alternative of what you could say, so I'll take that. There's motion in my driveway. Must be a deer out there.
Probably.
Yep, there's a deer walking right next to my car out there. Interesting. Right. Well, it's my wife's car, but yeah. Good evening, guys. Good evening. So sidebar, I de-Star Wars to my car today. I took all the decals and stuff off.
You did?
Yep.
Why?
I'm gonna change the theme of it. First of all, I'm gonna get a new bumper because they always come with those it's like a nice metal bumper, but then it's got the plastic cover over the top of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's junk. So I want to replace that. So that kind of motivated me to review what my car was looking like. and I just didn't want to do the Star Wars stuff anymore. So I'm gonna go to like Yeti and Sasquatch stuff. So and that's why I made the comment on your hat the other day.
Yeah, my American Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk pop cultures here. Can you StreamYard to have live auction or selling through YouTube? Ooh, I don't see why you couldn't. It's a live streaming service. Like we use the free one. That's why you see the little duck in the corner there. I'm guessing if you did the paid one, there's probably options on there where you could accept payments and things like that. Because mine is basically StreamYard's basically just the middleman because this goes directly to YouTube. So, and I don't believe YouTube itself has a live auction service, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's something that they employ. We've got Facebook's looking into doing that. Of course, you've got Whatnot. eBay Live does that now. So there's going to be more and more like live selling platforms as time goes by. I had a huge deal the other day. Are you ready for it? I don't know. You probably posted this like an hour ago. So are you ready? Because we've been making you wait. But yeah, I'd love to hear your huge deal, of course. Evening, BSC should be paying out for the promo within the next week. Awesome. So, once I start getting payouts from them and I know everything's working and we're on target, I'll start, doing some more focus on building over there. Johnny, I picked up a 15,000 card lot today. Nice. Baseball and football, all stars, rookies, inserts, SB, parallels, paid $150. Ooh, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I think it's all going to BSC. Yeah, that's probably about right. It's penny a card, right? So, yeah, nice. All going to BSC. It's going to take you a long time to list all that because you got to do them one by one.
Yep.
So have fun with that. And if there's some decent names in there, I still think it's better to put it on eBay than BSC. You're going to get more exposure and a better price.
Yeah. There's nobody who can beat eBay's marketing yet. Their global reach and their marketing programs, the consumer word of mouth. Like if you're going to look for something, where are you going to look? You're going to go to eBay first, right?
Yeah, I you can't argue with that. I mean, it stinks because they have the fees and all that kind of stuff, but I think, yeah, I think you just have to suck it up, and that's the best place to go for the better stuff.
Yeah, but
and I could be wrong. Go list them in both places. Put it on BSC. Put it on eBay.
Yeah.
If you can manage the time and the inventory control with that, maybe you'll sell it on BSC first. Who knows?
I think we're all on board with BSC being a viable alternative, though.
Right. Spain versus England is the final. Yes, that should be a pretty good game. Spain has surprised me. They played better than I thought they would. England has not played that well, so I'm thinking, most people are going to kind of lean towards Spain with the momentum and stuff, but I actually think England's going to win. Just there's a lot of there's young talent on there, but there's a lot of maturity and a lot of experience, and sometimes when you get to the big game, that has a lot of extra value. So we'll see. Have any cards you bought from a show for eBay not been worth listing on eBay? If so, what do you do with them? Yeah, we kind of just talked about that, especially when you buy big box buys for 2 cents a card. There's going to be stuff in there that you don't really think will move on eBay. Although I think almost any card can sell on eBay. You just need somebody who wants to buy. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing with the extra ones. We're going with BSC. We're going to list them there.
I think though, like when we buy at a show, we're cherry picking boxes, right? So we don't grab it unless we think it's worth listing on eBay. Where we do get a little surprised when we get home sometimes is we're trying to move fairly quick through a lot of boxes, and sometimes we get home and we're like, oh, I didn't see that ding corner, or I didn't see that little bit of a crease there. Well, it was going to be $1.99 card. I'm probably not going to list it now because who wants a damaged $1.99 card unless it's vintage or something, right? Like modern cards. Then I would say, yeah, that one didn't pan out. I'm going to put it in my dime box.
Yeah, and I've even done that where it was a card I thought it was, and they're like, "Oh, this is a nice Mike Trout card," and it's Anthony Rendon or something like that. I'm like, "Oh, oops, you paid a quarter for this." And that's just par for the course. You think it's one player and it's a different player, it's a different team or something. I don't know. It's so minimal and it doesn't happen that often that whatever. And then that's where the dime boxes come in. Just like if I rip anything, you're not going to get all great cards in a pack, obviously. So
right.
That's where you take your less than stellar ripped stuff and you put that in a box. Or I've even had somebody be like, here's a we got a big box of free cards. When we were down in Eau Claire, and I was like, okay, well, there were some really nice cards in there. It was really nice of the viewer to do that for us. But there were definitely some cards in there too where it's like, I don't really want to list these on eBay. I don't think they're going to be worth my effort, and I'm going to get the sale. So I'll go into a dime box. So yeah, it's good to have like a less than low end spot to handle some of that stuff with. Do you list cards on eBay regardless if other of the same card on eBay has sold or not? Yes. I don't care if a card is sold or not. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes some cards don't get listed very often because they're low end, and another low end seller just hasn't put any out there or hasn't had any lately. So I want to put it on there.
Yeah.
If there are no listings, that's the perfect thing to list because you're the only player in the game at that time. If there's a bunch of listings on there and none of them have sold,
that's when I lower my price, actually. We talk about not wanting to have a race to the bottom, but that's the one situation where I look at it and I'm like, yeah, the market isn't where everybody thinks it is. It's actually lower. I want to be the first one to sell one now because nobody else.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is I think you can do that too with discounts. So if you're a bigger volume, like, I have so many listings now that I can get multiple card sales and offer the discount that way. So I am going more to the bottom, if you want to call it that, but doing it through volume. So yeah, there's some ways to handle some of those cards if you have them. But if it's a good name player, if it's a Kirby Puckett card, I'm going to list it. I don't even check to see if they've sold before. I just list it because that player is there. There's a lot of player collectors. There's a lot of team collectors that are going to come through and buy those cards. Pudge Rodriguez cards, I wouldn't specifically buy those out of boxes, but I had some, so I listed them, and I sold like 10 of them yesterday. So
I sold a Harry S. Truman card today. How many people are saying, "Oh, this is going to go"? Sometimes you got to just trust your gut. And
I sold a Monsters card yesterday.
Yeah, for me, a card like that, I'm like, this might take a while, but I know it's from a World War II set. And I'm like, I know, D-Day is going to come around. People are going to be thinking about it more. People are going to be looking to grab those last couple cards in their set. Why not list something like that? Didn't matter to me that nothing had sold from it in the last 6 months. There are certain themes, certain players that you have to trust your gut and say, there's a buyer for everything. It's just a matter of how will I find that buyer and how long will it take?
Yeah. So I mean, you can literally list anything. You should have enough free listings to handle that, and then you just have to see whether or not you can get a sale on it.
Yeah.
And some of them I just don't feel like taking the time to list it, especially before the scanner and all that.
Yep.
And then just go in the dime box. I'd rather just bring them to a show, let somebody else dig, get a pile of them or whatever, and get a few cents out of them that way. Especially if they came in a big box buy where you paid 2 cents for the card. If you sell it for 10 cents, you still made a profit.
And that's really what it's more about. You just hit on it without actually saying it. Where we've talked about this before, where we made a lot of our decisions on what to list and what not to list is where we want to spend our time.
Right.
Yeah.
Time is money. So I don't want to spend, half a day listing a bunch of, absolute football random no-name rookies versus listing my Jordan cards I just bought.
Right.
So yeah, you have to
I want
kind
to
of
list more liquid stuff first.
right.
Okay?
Now, if you have no Jordan cards to list and all you have is a stack of absolute football rookie cards, I might list some of those.
Sure.
We're coming into football season. Maybe one of those guys hits it or is on a new team or, becomes Mahomes' favorite new target. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe then you'll get a sale of it. They have one good game. Sometimes that's all it takes to get a sale on a card like that. And, you probably nobody else is listing them because again, they're just so low value and they don't sell. You might be the only one out there with the listing.
I've got a whole box of Sage football sitting on my desk for the last month and a half. I was in no hurry to list it because I know it wasn't going to be flying off of the listings. But as football season gets closer, there's going to come a day where I'm going to throw some of these out there. Sure.
Yeah. So it's really up to you. If you think you can sell it, list it. If you don't think you can sell it, stick it in a box.
Yep.
I think it's pretty much that simple. What envelope do you use for 12 card orders?
No, I just walk it on over.
Yeah. So 12 cards, that's kind of, and I understand why you picked 12. That's kind of that borderline number. If there are like 12 regular, what is this called? A 12 point or 30 point or 20 point? I never know.
Or 30 point, yeah.
I never know what the points are. But if it's the lowest point thickness of cardstock, and I've got 12 of them, like if it's NFL 5 cards or Pokemon cards, it's really thin cardboard, I can put 12 of those in 2 card savers and put them in a number 10 envelope, business size envelope. And so then those would just go out that way. 88 cents, it's going to be 2 ounces for the most part. And now if you got a bunch of thicker cards, obviously that changes it quite a bit. Because thickness is really what it comes down to. Generally up to 15 quote unquote normal sized cards I'll put in a 6x9 envelope and put 5 in each card saver and send them out that way, and that's worked out really well.
Yeah.
So if I had 12 cards and they didn't really fit in 2 card savers and they were too thick, I'd go to 3 card savers and split them up, put 4 cards in each one, if you had a couple of thicker cards. And then I'd put those in a 6x9 and do it that way. You might be able to get away with 2 ounces, but you might have to go right to 3 ounces with the extra card saver. A little bit heavier weight envelope, and slightly thicker cards, generally weigh more too. So you probably want to weigh it then at that point. But so for a 12 card order, it's either going to be in a number 10 envelope if I can pull that off, or a 6x9. And then it's either a 2 or 3 ounce.
Yep.
Depending on the card.
The only other thing I throw in there is because I don't have the volume you have yet. Give me a couple years, but I still use some of my quarterly supplies bonus on some different items, and I do use those 3-pocket eBay envelopes. So anytime I get up around 10, 12 cards, then I start, to your point, how thick are they? Can I use 2 card savers, or do I want to go to the 3-pocket? But I use those 3 pockets in different scenarios too. Like this morning, I sent out a Pristine Patches thick Aaron Brooks memo card, and it was 1 card. I used one of those 3-pocket ones. I put it in the center pocket. Envelope's nice and flexible now. Still hitting that 1/4 inch, and it worked just fine for that. So, but yeah, when I get up around 10, 12, that's usually when I look to use one of those 3 pockets too.
Yeah, and I don't use those, so for me it's the number 10 or the 6x9.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they're free, so I use them.
yeah, I use my coupon on something else. Essentially, is
Yeah.
the difference. Yeah, if you have those, I'm sure those work fine too. So, um, depends on what envelopes you got laying around, I guess, or what you have access to.
Yep.
I wouldn't necessarily buy those 3-pocket envelopes because they're way
Agreed.
overpriced.
Yep, I agree.
So,
I wouldn't buy them on my own.
yeah.
I guess the point I would leave that one on is it's good to have different options for shipping because you never know what's going to come across your desk, and you need to have different options available.
Yeah, for sure. I've been doing good listing on Sport Lots auctions lately. All auctions start at a quarter, and I get $1.75 shipping. It's like selling a $2 card on eBay with free shipping. Great. Yeah, I mean the numbers that makes sense. I mean, I'm not sure what you're selling on there or who's buying. You might still be able to do better on eBay with it, but we'll see. Because I was thinking about this with BSC. Yeah, there's no fees and all that, but I have to sell the card cheaper, right?
Yep.
So you're essentially not saving anything, and you get less audience than eBay. So it's still worth it for a card that will sell on eBay, that I can sell on eBay, to sell it on eBay versus BSC. So, but yeah, you got to find your place. I mean, maybe you're somebody who's really building a name for yourself on Sport Lots, and you're getting the customers. And I have a pretty good sized customer list now. I think I'm up to almost 1,500 now for followers. So I would keep selling to the same customers, for a good part of it, and they're on eBay. So that's why I do. My biggest focus is going to be there.
Makes
For sure.
sense.
So eBay's a funny animal, right? Because they charge these fees and stuff, but the prices sell for higher. So it's kind of like PSA, right? So, okay, I've got this card and I want to get it graded. I could grade it at SGC for $10, or I could grade it at PSA for $18, right? You're like, well, why don't I just grade it at SGC? People like their cards, blah, blah, blah. But then you go look at sales history, and this card in a PSA 10 sells for $50, and in an SGC 10 it sells for $38. Like, you have to look at the actual total numbers. Like you have to take your price, minus the fees, and then that's what it plus the cost, or minus cost, and then that's your profit. And then is that more than doing it on Sport Lots with their setup? So, yeah. And I know of others that buy on Sport Lots, have sold on Sport Lots. So it makes sense to me that, there's some business model there that it'll work for. I looked into it a little bit, and I just didn't see a lot of opportunity on there for the stuff that I do, or for what I do. Versus BSC seems like a good future prospect. Unlimited listings, no fees, pay to list, and I can sell list a card for a quarter without shipping because they got to buy $3 worth. To me, that was the perfect scenario for my stuff I can't put on eBay.
Right.
Anything I can put on eBay, I'm going to put on eBay. I don't see a marketplace that's better than that at this time.
Agreed.
And now I would love it if I don't want to reload the site. I would love it if BSC became dominant and they kept it no fees, and I could just list everything there and keep all my money, because eBay takes a good chunk of my money.
They do. eBay.
But that's a big uphill climb. And you even get your casual buyers on eBay, which they're not going to go to Sport Lots,
Right.
So like December, when I'm selling a bunch of cards, and it's like, oh, my husband loves Star Wars cards, I'm going to buy him these cards for Christmas. That's a bad example because that's not a sports card, but loves Jeter or loves Favre, right? So I'm going to buy him these Favre cards for Christmas. That buyer is not going to go on Sport Lots. Buy. So there's a reason that even though people sell on their own websites, they still sell on Amazon, right? Because well, I've got this amazing deal on these water filters, but when my water filter goes bad in my GE appliance, I go look up the number on Amazon and I order it. I'm not going to go to your waterfiltersplus.com and buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't know that website exists. I don't know anything about water filters. So I go to the place where I buy those types of things, those types of home goods, and that's Amazon. So if you're going to not sell your water filters on Amazon, you're going to miss out on a ton of business there's a lot of casual buyers in cards. It's not everybody's not a hardcore collector or investor.
That's true.
So, and then especially like non-sport, that's the most frustrating thing to me is there's no alternative to sell non-sport anywhere. So, okay, great. So I started selling some stuff on sport lots. I still have to put all my non-sport on eBay because there's no other place to sell it. No place does non-sport cards.
So it sounds like we need to start a selling platform.
No, incorrect. Incorrect. I'd rather just, I know the market. I'd rather just go buy the cards on the deal and resell them and make my money that way. That's worked pretty well for me. I don't really want to. I'm hoping somebody comes out with a platform, like BSC eventually, and to try to get it going, they, give you cut rate deals and stuff like that, and you can list them there, and I can get some non-sport that, maybe some base cards on some of those sets that, might not sell. Well, I got a lot of Ninja Turtles base cards that I normally just lot up. Well, maybe I could sell them individually on a website that was focused on that. We'll see. To me, the biggest problem is always the casual shopper. You have to be in the most obvious spot or the casual shopper will never find you. There's just too much noise on the internet.
Yeah, that's fair.
And even if you're advertised the hell out of it, how are you going to reach that casual buyer? Advertising, So, and I get messages all the time like, hey, my husband, do you think this is a good card? My husband loves Nolan Ryan, and I think he would, there's stuff like that happens. It's not all just a collector. But it's kind of up to us too, right? So like BSC is there, Sport Lots is there. We're the ones who are probably going to make them become something big or not at all. We're going to be the ones that are going to say, hey, go to Sport Lots or my store is on BSC or, we're going to have to kind of do that. That's kind of why they're paying us or giving us free fees. It's because they want us to build their business.
Right.
As the sellers, they're letting us in on the business for now. I guarantee you, if it takes off, there's going to be fees and all kinds of stuff. Because why wouldn't they do that? Yep. They could actually be profitable then if they did that. So we can decide as the sellers and the people who know the market and have the inventory and things like that, what we want to build up and make viable selling platforms for our product. Now, when Amazon started, they only sold books, right? Did you know that?
I remember that, yeah.
I'm assuming most people know that. But they became such a large bookseller, and I think they bought out like most of Borders inventory when Borders went out of business.
Yeah.
That other places that were selling books, like small time bookshops and people who wanted to sell online, were like, "Can I sell on your little website, Amazon?" And then it was like, okay, then let's start selling magazines, and then I'll start. That's how they got. I mean, now they're insane with what they have 26 billion products or something insane like that. But that's not how it started, right? I mean, it's the old adage of I started this business in a garage kind of thing, and it was a good enough experience and built up enough that then other people wanted to come in and be a part of it. And that's how you make, that's how you start making real money and have a real impact on people shopping. Yeah, I look at it with so an LCS, right? An LCS doesn't market. Okay.
Yeah.
So you open an LCS in a city, you expect the people from that city to come in and do their business there. That's it. Now, if you're a big one and you've got a social media platform and you're doing all these shows and you can go above and beyond that if you want to be something else. But most LCSs, they're like, they have a shop, they order they order 2 boxes of each new product that comes out, and they sell a couple singles and some supplies, and they're just a hobbyist store. And that's it. Right? So the casual buyer is not going to know they exist. Excuse me. So, and then in the internet, it gets gets worse. It's harder and harder and harder to get in front of somebody.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else we got tonight?
We got one more comment, so we'll read this. I listed 50 this week and have bids on 39 so far. It's stuff that will still sit on eBay for months. Just want it out of here. I like to use all avenues.
Nice.
And that's exactly what you should use them for then. Yeah, if it's going to sit and you got a different place to move it, go for it. And I think you're kind of referring to selling them in lots as well, and that's literally sport lots like niche. So it's a great place to go and do that. But yeah, good for you. If that's a great place, and if that's working for you and you're getting your sales and making your money, do it. Sometimes I look at it like I just really don't want to spend that much time on like a certain group of cards. I'd rather just keep listing. I just scan and list, scan and list, scan and list, scan and list. I don't think about each card and this card's been sitting in my inventory for. I don't care. It can sit there for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only time now, because of the way I have my inventory system set up, the only time now is when a baggie gets really low. Like let's say it was a 40, I had 40 cards in the baggie and I've sold enough of them that I've only got like 4 cards left. I'll pull that baggie because I don't want a bag of 4 cards sitting in there. And I'll look at those cards. And then maybe that'll be the time that I change the price, end them, relist them to get new eyes on them, assign them a new bag number. And then that's kind of how I refresh that inventory that hasn't moved. But honestly, for what I've listed, it's pretty rare that I have stuff sit around. I'm surprised now that I've got like 7 months into this inventory system. I'm surprised how much stuff really sells.
Right.
Like it doesn't sit around that long. I started my bags like December 9th or 10th or something like that was the first day I started it. And those early bags, I only have, for the most part, like 8 or 10 cards in each bag. So in 6 months' time, I've sold most of the stuff that I listed, those months ago. So I don't know. And if they're moving, why go somewhere else with it? Because again, that's work. I got to take them out of my store, and then I got to go list them somewhere else that doesn't have a fast listing platform besides. And it's like, I don't know, is that worth it on a card that already hasn't sold on eBay?
Right.
But if you have less inventory, I could see how that could start getting annoying. Like, oh, this card hasn't sold in like 6 months, but I have 45,000 listings. Like, I don't know how long something's been on there for the most part. Just it sells and it sells, and all it takes is that one time to get the sale. So, you might have this. I have cards all the time that sell that I'm like, somebody bought this, and then on top of it all, they paid that much for it. Like, I just had that sale of Pudge and Juan Gonzalez. I'm like, that's fine. Like, I don't ever sell Pudge or Juan Gonzalez, and I sold like 12 cards at a time.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I feel like quantity and variety is your best selling point over everything else.
I would agree.
You can have good prices, you can have nice cards, you can have a cool logo, you can have all that, but the quantity and the availability and the option for a customer to search through lots of stuff, that they would want, and then make a shopping cart full of stuff, especially if you're going to give them a discount on buying that quantity. I think that's the thing that really gets you forward. So focus your time on getting your listings on there, have a good inventory system. Your customer service has to be top notch above everything else. And then boom, you'll just start selling random crap. The Sports Illustrated for Kids cards I sell are crazy. Like I sold a rodeo card the other day. I have a guy who's just been buying a ton of female athlete cards. So I sold a bunch of surfer cards and swimming and things like that. Like, dude, you can pretty much sell anything. You just got to find a buyer.
Yep.
Now, that buyer comes in and doesn't buy one card. That buyer will buy 5 copies of this card and 2 copies of this card and then 10 or 15 other cards. Like, and then I give them a deal on the quantity. So everybody, I feel like that's the way to really get the sales on those kinds of cards. Because people don't want to pay. You need to get like $2 for a card because of the eBay fees, but they don't want to pay $2 for a 1991 Upper Deck baseball common card. But if you can give it to them for $1, if they buy 20 cards and you got a ton of cards out there that they can choose from, they can probably come up with 20 cards. And then it's worth their money for the buck.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of like us, right? We go into those quarter boxes and there's some cards in there where I'm like, I don't want to pay a quarter for that. But if I buy enough cards and I can get it down to 15 cents, now it's worth it. Or $1 card and now you can get it down to 50 cents. Well, now I can make some money on it.
Right.
It's kind of the same idea, just on the virtual front of that. But that's enough. I think you guys have heard me talk long enough.
We got one more chat.
For you?
No, just kidding.
I was like, I didn't see anything. So that's that. I think we covered our topics, didn't we?
We sure did.
We had the National, we had the Goat Show. Yeah, I think that was what we had for this week. I know the weeks to some degree are a little repetitive. The past couple of weeks, but we got some big stuff coming up, and they're just going to be a topic for a while until they happen. We're hoping to see.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. We're hoping to see some of you at the National. So I think Charlie and I'll try to talk a little bit this week about setting up a place and a time and stuff, and get some dinner or drink, and have some time away from the National instead of meeting at some dig boxes and trying to talk then. That's not always the best place to do that. So
next week, you guys will have a real treat. Adam will be flying solo. I might pop in for a short greeting live from the Resch Center as my family and I are going to a concert, Creed concert, as a matter of fact, which starts at 7. So I don't know, maybe there'll be a chance for me to pop in for a minute and say hi, but definitely will not be in my normal seat with the Stewmeister next week.
Yeah, and maybe I'll get a guest host. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but
we actually talked about maybe inviting some dealers from our upcoming show to kind of share their thoughts on what they're looking for in a card show, what they like, what they don't like, to get that dealer perspective.
Yeah, and some people aren't comfortable on camera in a live video.
You're really uncomfortable.
Right, especially if you've never done it before. So, I don't know. I'll fill it out a little bit and see. Most of my moving here is done now. I've got a couple things to haul back and forth from my old office, but I can pretty much function in here all day now. So I'm hoping to get some more time, get that commercial. I'll get the commercial done tomorrow for sure. It's almost done. And then, maybe see about setting something up for the live next week. And
I think Brandon video tomorrow. Reaching out to some of the dealers to see if they'd like to join us.
Yeah, that's probably true. Good point. So good. Then I don't have to do it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good plan. All right. Well, I think that's it for this week. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it to anybody you think might also enjoy watching it. Subscribe to this channel, The Dollar Box, and then also Charlie's channel, JC3 Cards and Collectibles.
You got it. It only took a year, but you got it.
I know, right? I got it now. Join the Discord if you haven't done that yet.
Man, we
We did
didn't
have
even
a
show the banner tonight. I'm slipping.
no, we didn't. I forgot to put the banner on. But we did have a few new Discorders this past week jump on, so that was good. We got a couple new ones. I got a message from somebody asking for an invite. They couldn't find the server, so if that's the case and your invite code isn't working or whatever, let me know and I'll or Charlie know and we'll get you set up so that you can get in there. That's a good place. There's a lot of fun stuff. I've learned quite a bit in there myself, and we've been able to share some knowledge too, so it's good.
Yeah.
But very interactive, kind of like this live and chat. Great place to ask questions, talk about things that that the rest of us won't know. We have some PC share spots in there. We've got some pickups pickups channels in there where you can share stuff that you bought, stuff you've sold. Good times. Charlie presents a lot of gifts, so if you're into that, he's got that going on.
Is it GIFs or GIFs? Let's start the debate.
I say gifts. It's a G, so I'm going with GIF. To me, GIF is peanut butter, and it's spelled with a J.
I'm with you.
I go with the GIF. GIFs. .gif.
If you add a T to it, are you buying someone a gift?
Definitely not.
See?
I would never buy anyone a gift. Never buy a GIF. So yeah, it's a GIF as far as I'm going, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so join the Discord if you haven't been there before. I do have a Patreon if you want to find a way to contribute to the channel. Financially, we always appreciate that. Allows us to continue to do some videos. And Goat Show, September 8th. Hopefully some of you can make it there. And we'll try to do some live from there and some other fun things. We want to try to include our online community in our card show. I think that'll be a fun experience that not a lot of other shows do. So that's a goal. I think that's about it, right?
Yeah.
I cover it. All right, any parting thoughts for you?
Just watch for a new liquidity list for basketball over the next couple days. I'll also be doing some box diving. Excuse me, another monster box dig through another row of that this weekend. So I'll probably have that out Monday sometime. Lesson learned on the last one. I got a little fancy and I did a video background as I was going through the box. 6 hours to download from my software.
Yeah, that was the one with the waterfall or whatever.
Yeah.
It did look cool, but yeah, for 6 hours, no.
Processing time was not a good
You
cost.
need that fiber internet, buddy.
I'm waiting.
We can rip through those videos pretty quick.
So I'll leave the static backgrounds in the future. I do like having the background on it, but so yeah, look for that content coming out. Other than that, just the normal. Peace out. Take care of each other.
And remember, you can't sell what you don't list. We'll see you next week.